What's up YouTube, Capital G here, got an epic cheese duel for you guys to check out. Maybe an epic cheese duel gone wrong, or I guess for one player gone right. Not cheese in the sense that there are going to be any FTKs or anything like that, but you know that we are dealing with two highly volatile decks. We got Mermill down at the bottom. Mermill have been able to stay, in my opinion, kind of relevant because the deck can link spam, they can make Galaxy Tomahawk. I think rank 7s are still incredibly strong. Even if they couldn't make Galaxy Tomahawk, I mean, you look at a card like Draco Sack, that's still pretty good. It's like a watered down Galaxy Tomahawk. Then we got Trains at the top, obviously with the new support that they're getting in the legendary dual Sisters of the Rose. You combine that with Libe, well, that is one of the cards. So I think that you got one of the best kind of OTK decks in the game, especially going second. Like, Trains want to go second. So I think both players are kind of getting what they wanted, but maybe that's going to change really quickly. Nephthibis turn 1 in Mermill, obviously that's a play starter, and this is going to be really interesting. The link monster that he's going to go into, which I just found to be kind of interesting, goes into Riplodocus, which I was just like, wait, what? That ain't even Mistar Boy. Are you trolling or something like that? But it's gonna make sense in a little bit. I didn't quite understand why he would just go straight into that, but whatever. He's continuing the summon. Now, obviously, he's got the Moulin Glacier. Take 2 cards out of your opponent's hand. Looking kind of dire for going second here, not gonna lie. He's going to go ahead and he's going to turn that, I think he turned his Swap Frog into a dinosaur so that he could summon his copy of Summon Sorcerers. Now it starts to make sense why he summoned that Link monster, because now he can go into number 42 Galaxy Tomahawk, and boom, at this point, you know Firewall Dragon and the friends are starting to come. At this point, he's just going to keep on going. And by the way, hold on, I was looking at his graveyard. I was like, wait a minute. This dude is doing all of this link spamming. He's doing all of this popping off. I was like, there has to be some type of spell in his graveyard that I didn't see, because he didn't even use Light of Second. Like, who doesn't want to just draw 2 cards? He's like, I don't need no stinking cards to draw, Cap G. I'm just going to pop off regardless. Like, who? And he draws another Light of Second. But now he's like, I'm going to activate it now. I don't get why he didn't activate that as like one of the first things in his turn. He's just, I don't know. I thought that was a little troll, but whatever. Gives his opponent the copy of Corruptor Ibli, and he is gonna Gumblar his opponent again, and this is just mean. Sometimes I just hate Gumblar, dude. Get that fucking card out of the game. Seriously, this guy just took 4 cards out of his opponent's hand, has a very strong board on field. Like, how do you expect him to lose? Although, a couple of those monsters that he discarded actually do trigger. This is a little bit of a problem. He ends up getting 2 search, well, one's a search, and then one is getting a card back from the graveyard, because the Ruffian Rail card went to the grave, and then also the Bullet Liner is a new card. This went to the graveyard as well, so he didn't do as much damage as maybe he would have expected, and it's gonna actually get worse. He top decked Cyber Dragon. That means he can instantly get out of that Ibli, and maybe even go for Mega Fleet Dragon. That's kind of good. Now, he does have Special Schedule, because he does have, well, excuse me, Urgent Schedule. Special Schedule is the other one. Obviously, he has way less monsters than his opponent had on the field, so he's getting some really good top decks. And now check this out. He is going to go for the Mega Fleet Dragon. This was something incredible. I had to actually watch this about 4 times, because I did a double take each time. Check this out. He ends up having 3 level 10s on the field. How many of you guys knew that this card was a level 10? I had no idea that Mega Fleet Dragon was a level 10. He uses all of them for Exceed Material. Then he's going for that giant toy robot, and you know what's coming after that. He's going for Live Day. He detaches a material, and he's able to basically just one-shot his opponent through all of his monsters. Dude, Live Day is like such a ridiculous card. Who created that card? This is the way that the train deck needs to operate, man. Doesn't matter even if you lose your entire opening hand except 1 card. Trains, when they want to OTK, like, I don't think that there's a deck in Yu-Gi-Oh that is actually going to stop you. There are no breaks on this train, man. Well, technically, Live Day is a tank, though, so I guess that's a little weird. Anyways, let me pause for one quick second, show you guys what the deck is looking like. Okay, so this is what the deck looks like on paper. As you guys can see, basically every good train monster in the game, you're running at 3 in this deck. I think it makes more sense to run a higher train count than it did in the past, because now you're using Urgent Schedule. You're summoning a bunch of your train monsters from the deck. You saw that used in the duel, and obviously the big impact it can have. Since you're going second with trains, basically every duel, you do want to run things like Kaiju to be able to break those opponents' boards. Also, Cyber Dragon is a card that I think you could even run like a couple of copies copies of Cyber Dragon. We saw how impactful it was being able to get rid of the the Ibli corruptor. You contribute it for that. Also, the fact that it can break extra link boards if your opponent has a couple of monsters in the extra monster zone. And as we found out randomly, Mega Fleet Dragon just happens to be a level 10 machine monster. So it just inherently kind of works well with rank 10 trains in general. There are some other cards in here I thought were kind of interesting, like Magnet Reverse. This is cool because if you do go for Libe, I mean, I guess maybe it's a little win more at that point, but if you go for Libe, you can detach your door, which you did actually exceed summon, and then you can like bring back your Dora from the graveyard. So that's kind of cool. Have even more damage on board, but usually Libe is going to OTK through just about anything. I'm not sure if Call by the Grave is really needed. You're always going second in this deck for the most part. So I mean, outside of like Ash Blossom on your urgent schedule, I'm not really sure what Called by the Grave is really hitting. I kind of feel like I'd rather have Impermanence because that's actually a hand trap going second that I can also use going second, or I can kind of wait for my opponent to play it out and I can use it to try negate one of their cards that is on the field. Like if they have, I don't know, Vanity's Fiend or something like that, I can just wait until my turn, throw it down there, and then do whatever I want to do. So personally, I would probably take out these and put Impermanences in because I think that they could be a little more impactful. Other kind of just one-ofs, like it looks like he's running a Gear Frame Engine. I've seen the Signal Red. I've seen this ran in a bunch of decks. This is a card that I had never saw before. Like I'd never seen this card before. Break Draw. You equipped it to a machine monster, and then every time it runs over a monster, you draw a card. But this is so win more. I mean, because if you put it on Libe, yeah, Libe can attack every monster your opponent controls. I guess maybe if you summon Libe in a turn, because I think off Switchyard, right? Off Switchyard, if you do summon from the deck, then your opponent doesn't take any battle damage. So maybe if you're cranking, like if you're just running through your opponent's monsters, but they're not taking any damage. But honestly, I don't know if that's really going to come up that much. I mean, it's a one-of in the deck, so I mean, I guess you could use it at your discretion. But personally, I wouldn't run it. Like I'd find some way of like I'd probably take out. You can even take out Iron Draw, to be honest. Even that card is a little flaky. I mean, it gets a draw 2, but it only works when you have specifically 2 machine monsters on the field. I think it's a good card if you're going first, but I'm wondering what you're looking to draw at that point, considering you don't really have any defensive cards in the deck. If there's no impermanence, no hand traps, then like what are you thinking, or what are you hoping to draw into at that point? He's also playing the Train Link monster. I didn't do a video dedicated to this, and I'm probably not going to. It's okay. It doesn't really change trains all that much. Honestly, if you have 2 level 10 trains, just go in the Libe. It's significantly better. Okay card. Maybe there's probably like a one-of in the deck. I don't even think trains needed a Link monster, to be honest, because I think that Libe is everything that they could want in the deck. But, regardless, they have the Link monster now, and we'll see what trains do when they are released in January from the Legendary Duelist Sisters of the Rose.